republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hello everyone, and welcome to our Veterans Day broadcast. I'm James MacRae, District Director of Veteran Services for Acton and Boxborough. Due to the nature of the COVID-19 pandemic, we had to cancel our traditional ceremony on the town common. Nonetheless, I'm pleased to have this opportunity to inform you on what I believe are very important veterans benefits. In particular, two benefits I would like to discuss in detail: Chapter 115 assistance and service-connected disabilities. Chapter 115 assistance is a Massachusetts state veterans benefit and is my primary duty as Veteran Service Officer. For a single veteran or surviving spouse of a veteran whose monthly income is less than $2,126 and assets are less than $5,000, I can, at the very least, reimburse monthly medical costs through my office. This $5,000 asset limit does not include your primary home, vehicle, personal belongings, or life insurance policies. In addition to this, IRAs would not be counted as assets either, but rather monthly income. Types of medical costs that can be reimbursed include Medicare B, which is currently at $144.60 that comes out of Social Security, Medicare D, supplemental coverage such as MedX, Blue Cross, Tufts, and others, prescription copays, hospital and doctor copays, over-the-counter medical necessities, and more. If your monthly income is slightly above the $2,126 threshold, we can do what's called a medical spend down. An example would be if someone's monthly income is $100 over the $2,126 threshold, but has $300 in monthly medical costs. We could do a partial reimbursement of $200. If their income is significantly less than the threshold, there may be additional monthly compensation available. For a married veteran, monthly income should not exceed $2,818 and assets should not exceed $10,000. I realize that was a lot of information I just talked about, so if you need further clarification, please contact my office. Next, I would like to talk about VA service-connected disabilities. Disability compensation is a monetary benefit paid to veterans who are determined by the VA to be disabled by an injury or illness that was incurred or aggravated during military service. Unlike Chapter 115 assistance, there are no asset or income limits for a veteran to receive service-connected disability compensation. Most physical disabilities you may want to claim to the VA must have a medical nexus, proof that it affected you during service and how much it's affecting you currently. Even though you haven't seen your military service treatment records, potentially in decades, it's the VA's obligation to retrieve those service treatment records once a claim has been submitted. Having said that, do you recall being treated for a physical ailment while in service? An example would be going to sick call or the hospital, even if it was just once. That may be enough proof to be awarded VA disability compensation. So if you hurt your knee, back, shoulder, really anything physical while in service, and that ailment still affects you currently, I recommend contacting my office to submit a claim. Hearing loss and tinnitus claims are the most common claim the VA receives by far, and oftentimes the most simple claim to submit. With hearing loss claims, you do not need to show proof that it affected you in service. If your job in the military was related to at least a moderate level of loud noise exposure, you will have a good chance of the claim being decided in your favor. Tinnitus is the high-pitched ringing in the ears that may be mild and periodic or severe and constant. No matter the severity of your tinnitus, the VA will award a 10% disability rating, which is currently $142.29 each month, tax-free. The majority of the time, the VA will grant a 0% award for hearing loss, which entitles you to free hearing aids through the VA, as well as anything else hearing-related you may need. Lastly, I want to discuss presumptive conditions from exposure to Agent Orange. the VA has recognized certain cancers and other health problems as diseases associated with Agent Orange or other herbicides used during military service. One-day boots on ground in Vietnam constitutes exposure to Agent Orange. Brown water veterans that served aboard ships that navigated inland waterways of Vietnam constitutes exposure to Agent Orange. And as of January 2020, blue water veterans who served aboard ships within 12 miles off the coast of Vietnam are now able to submit claims for these presumptive conditions as well. The following are most of the presumptive conditions from exposure. I left out a few conditions that have to be disabling within 1 year of exposure. AL amyloidosis, chronic B-cell leukemias, diabetes type 2, Hodgkin's disease, ischemic heart disease, also known as coronary heart disease, multiple myeloma, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, Parkinson's disease, prostate cancer, respiratory cancers, including lung cancer, soft tissue sarcomas. For anyone dealing with an active malignant cancer that I had just listed, the VA will rate that veteran 100% service-connected while the cancer is still active. 100% disability for a single veteran is currently $3,146.22 per month. All non-cancer service-connected disabilities will be assigned a percentage based on the severity. It is important to note at this time that all state and federal benefits, including VA disability, are tax exempt. I know this pandemic has changed the way we do things in our everyday lives. As we all have had to adapt to the situation, so has my office. There is a lot we can accomplish over the phone and through email. Additionally, I'm able to make home visits with certain safety protocols in place in order to exchange documents and obtain signatures that may be needed for some veterans' benefits. So please, reach out to my office if you have questions on anything veteran-related at all. And with that, I'd like to thank all Acton and Boxborough veterans for your service to our country and wish you all a happy and healthy Veterans Day. Now, we would like to present a special Veteran Days ceremony performed by the students at Douglas Elementary School.
Good morning, and welcome to our 2020 Veterans Day webinar. Welcome all students, teachers, staff, veterans, and honored guests. Douglas parents who have volunteered so many important ways to make this day possible, especially Mrs. Maxwell and Mrs. Callahan. Also, our music specialist, Mr. Chris Cherrig, and our 5th grade students who are presenting some of our patriotic music this morning, and to their teachers, Miss Sandock, Mr. Kale, and Mrs. Sheridan. This Wednesday, November 11th, the country celebrates Veterans Day. Veterans have served in wars to keep us safe and free. They deserve our respect and admiration for the sacrifices that they have made so that each and every one of us may live in peace. So today, I hope that we are able to remind you of all the veterans who walk among you. They may visit you on Zoom in our classrooms. They may be standing next to you in line for ice cream, or they may be walking their dog as you pass on a sidewalk. They have served for us, and we are truly grateful, and we wish them a happy Veterans Day. The next part of our program will be our flag ceremony, led by the 5th grade Girl Scouts, Elise Harvey, Caroline Kurtz, Hannah Ridley, and Jillian Potnick.
join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now it is my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker. Our speaker today, Richard Hubbell, grew up in New Hartford, New York, and studied at Cornell University and at a French engineering school called L'École Mécanique et d'Aérotechnique. Mr. Hubbell served in the United States Army from 1970 to 1976 at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, Fort Dix, New Jersey, and Fort Leonard, Missouri. He has 3 children and 6 grandchildren, including Douglas students Ada Elizabeth, Anna Marie, and Nolan Hubbell. Today, he is an engineer at Belimo Air Controls. He and his wife, Mary Lou, split their time between Lowell, Massachusetts, and Bartlett, New Hampshire. It is my pleasure to introduce Richard Hubbell.
Hi. This Wednesday, November 11th, is Veterans Day. I am Richard Hubbell. My grandchildren, Nolan, Anna Marie, and Ada Hubbell, are in the Douglas School. And my daughter-in-law, Mrs. Hubbell, has asked me to speak about what Veterans Day means to me. Well, when you think about Veterans Day, what comes to mind? There are parades, there are marching bands, there are uniforms, there are guns. They may even have a tank in the parade. But when you get right down to the basics, it's all about a veteran. Who's a veteran? What's a veteran? It's a single man or woman who has sacrificed their time, their skills, their energy to protect the rest of the people in the United States. So they're our heroes. Who are the first veterans? The first American veterans were farmers in Acton, Concord, and Lexington, who joined up in the Revolutionary War to protect the colonies from the British. They left their families, their homes, their farms to fight against the British, who were trying to tell us what to do. In those days, it was only men and boys, men and sons, who went to war, who went into the military. Nowadays, in fact, men and women both go into the military. And what do? They make us safe and free. They protect our livelihoods. They keep our country safe. The reason why we maintain a military is because our country and our countries that are friends of ours can often be threatened by countries who aren't playing nicely with us. They're trying to force us to do things, or they may be trying to take territories from us. So where did Veterans Day originally come from? It came from this horrible war that happened in the early 1900s, when a number of countries worldwide went into a conflict. Tremendous sacrifice on all sides. And it just so happened that war, the First World War, came to an end at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918, 102 years ago. I also think about the greatest number of veterans we've ever had who participated in World War II. This is when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, and the Nazis in Germany were attacking France and England and bombing all of our ships going across the Atlantic to try to help out the British. So when I was in graduate school, the call went out to have young men and women, healthy young men and women, join the armed services because the war in Vietnam was ongoing. So we left our families and trained and learned how to get in shape and protect our grandparents and families could stay safe in the United States. I joined the Army and spent a lot of time in different areas of the country, made lots of friends in a number of different states. I remember marching with 200 people and then pitching tents in cold, rainy conditions where we'd be standing in front of a bonfire to dry out from the heavy rain we were in. So whenever you think about Veterans Day, remember all of the veterans who are sacrificing their time and their energies to protect us, keep us safe so that we can live our lives. Our children could go to school, play sports, and have good lives. When you see veterans, you should thank them for keeping us safe and for making their sacrifices. Thank you. Hope you have a great Veterans Day.
Thank you, Mr. Hubbell. Mr. Charig, the 5th grade teachers, and I have created a virtual 5th grade chorus. We recorded individual and small groups of students singing and preparing this retrospective of patriotic music. It would usually be time for Douglas students to introduce our guest veterans. Instead, we share these photo sets to beautiful voices of Douglas 5th grade students. Thank you, 5th grade students. John F. Kennedy said, "As we express our thanks, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not just to say words, but to live by them. Douglas students, if you want to honor our veterans, be brave, stand up for what is right, and stand up for others, especially those who don't have someone else to stand up for them. Thank you, and happy Veterans Day, everyone.